36. LeBron James, like he's 26.
LeBron, he saw it and watch him call it. He's going to call it.
LeBron fadeaway. Oh, he hit it. Oh, my goodness.
LeBron with a hammer and one.
LeBron with two.
Lets it fly. And hits.
Oh, he turned the other way. Go three for LeBron.
You just have to bow down.
Both the Lakers and Nets have had their superstars miss significant time this season. LeBron's ankle sprain has kept him out for the last few weeks, while AD has missed the past 2 months with a calf strain, although he's been cleared for full on-court activity and could return next week. And on the East Coast, the lethal Harden, KD, Kyrie trio has very rarely been on the court together. And Steve Nash recently said they may not get any more regular season games with the whole roster. Chris, which team is in more dire need to get their stars on the court, LA or Brooklyn?
It's the Nets, without question. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a team that's going to enter the playoffs with their 3 best players having played like 7 games. It might get up to 12, maybe, games together heading into the playoffs. It's just, if they win the championship, it will be completely unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this in the NBA. We look back to Miami. It took that team, as great as they were with LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh, a year to get their chemistry right and win a title. Last year, you saw the Clippers struggle because they didn't play together much. So they didn't have the chemistry when the going got tough in the playoffs. The Nets have to try to figure this out somehow. Now, all that said, I've picked the Nets, all right, to win it all. I'm picking them based on talent. I'm going out on a limb because, again, this has never been done before. I think there's a few things that could benefit them. Number one, it's a pandemic season. It's a condensed season. So teams aren't practicing as much as they have in the past. And a lot of teams have guys in and out of the lineups. Some teams have lost stars to injuries. So no team, very few teams will be that well-oiled machine when the playoffs start because the regular season's been so disjointed. That'll help them. Secondly, the game is a lot simpler to play nowadays. You don't have all these teams with different systems. Everybody's pretty much running the high pick or drive and kick, space the floor around the three-point line when your guy gets doubled or dump it off with an alley-oop to a big man. That's easy to do. James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving know how to do that in their sleep, and the other guys know how to play off of them. So I believe that's one reason they feel like, look, it's not ideal, but once we get on the court, we will know how to play together. And then their big guy, their 3 stars, and then you throw in the Blake Griffin. They clearly are all in on winning a championship. For Kyrie Irving to go to James Harden and say, look, dog, you the point guard. You do that better than me. You do you. I'll be a two guard and score. KD will be able to fit in and obviously be a catch and shoot guy and score big time. And then the role players can get around them. So all of them are all in. They know they're not going for individual numbers. They don't care about any of that. They care about winning a championship because they've done all of that other stuff. They know that only winning a championship will enhance their legacy. So they need to come together, and it's certainly scary, but I think they can overcome that.
Ask the question again, J-Mac. Ask the question again.
Who are you more concerned about due to injuries, the Lakers or the Nets?
And you just said the Brooklyn Nets. You just said the Brooklyn Nets, Chris Broussard. I wanted J-Mac to reframe the question.
Together.
Because to me, when I listen to your answer, it's like, you said all of those things, and it still brings me to the LA Lakers. The Lakers' injuries are a way bigger issue, and it's a way bigger deal. The reason, to me, you look at this Brooklyn Nets team, this is by design. It is by design, and when you look at the reason why it's by design is because you have a lot of veteran leadership on this team, and you also have guys that are just, well, the most prolific basketball players in the game. Scoring-wise, passing-wise, shooting-wise, whatever Wise, all right? Wise potato chips. They got it in spades in Brooklyn. There is no reason to panic having those guys rest. There's no reason to get overblown and overdrawn on speaking about them having not played together enough. It's unprecedented. I get all of that. But when you're looking at what type of talent these guys bring to the table and where this NBA currently is and how you're able to maneuver and navigate in it, again, you made this point when I've been on shows with you before, Broussard, is that it's not a big man league anymore. It's not a down low, low post league anymore. So when you got guys that can create their own space and really, in essence, create one-on-one matchups, I will say the one drawback is defensively, there may be question marks in Brooklyn. But offensively speaking, with the prolific type scores that they have, I don't see that being a concern. But when you come to LA and you look at this Lakers team, they are a vastly different team without LeBron James on the court. They are an even more vastly different team without LeBron and AD on the court. You have guys that can make this team better. You added Drummond. I think he's made the team better. Schroeder's gotten healthy. He makes the team better. All right, you look at guys like Kuzma. He is a good contributor that could take a bigger step and be more to this team than what he has been. But I think it is imperative that the Lakers get their guys back, get as healthy as they can, and get as much time together as they possibly can out in the West versus what the Brooklyn Nets have going on right now in the East.
I disagree, LeVar.
Of course
you say
do.
It's imperative. Yeah, of course I do.
Go
you
ahead.
say
It
it's
is
imperative, but when you look in
That's
LA,
a great word.
LeBron James and Anthony Davis have won a championship together.
Yep.
They've spent time together last season in the bubble, this season as well, and then injuries happened. We can't say that any of these Brooklyn Nets have really spent that quality amount of time together. Yeah, we've seen them in bits and pieces. I know we haven't seen all three in LA with the new acquisition of Andre Drummond, but because of the way LeBron plays, because he's so inclusive, because he's so pass-first driven, he's going to make it work. Now, it is a little different because we have never seen LeBron play with the interior force like an Andre Drummond that is an inside presence, more of a spread the floor and you get to a spot and I can kick it to you. That's not Andre Drummond. But when you look at the Brooklyn Nets and you specifically start to tell me that this is by design, I have never in my entire life, my entirety of 37 years, seen a team that was built to go win a championship and say, you know what, this is by design. You guys can, you can sit out, you can be hurt. We're going to be just fine. I don't need to see you guys.
That's how
play
he's
together.
handling them being hurt.
No.
I'm giving Steve Nash credit for managing them on a level where I think it's by design.
What is by design is you acquire these talents so that they can play together and you can know what you have going into the postseason. Now, yes, are they good? Of course they are. But we have not seen them together enough to where we can automatically crown them and say, yeah, it's going to work. Specifically
Chris Broussard
in the postseason and in the later moments of the game, when you have to be in lockstep with one another, you got to know who's going to take that shot.
Chris Broussard did.
We don't know that when we look at the Brooklyn Nets.
He said there's got to be more than a thunderstorm to be able to beat Brooklyn,
and
J-Mac.
I just want to remind you guys, LeVar, I know you remember this because we're sitting here in the chairs. In February, I said on this show, and your boy Slick Rick's head exploded, that the Nets maybe will play like 6 more games together. And Slick Rick was all upset. Rick Buchers, no way. I'm telling you, and Broussard, you've been all over the Nets, and I agree. They, on paper, look great. But this is a team that's got a problem ahead of them. I'm telling you, right now, they're going to fall to the number 2 seed, right? With Harden's injury, KD's injury. Guess who they'll have to face in the second round? Giannis, Drew Holiday, that Bucks team, which we always laugh at. Oh, the Bucks, they can't get it done in the playoffs. I really think they don't match up well with the Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are going to have major problems with Giannis and that size and the three-point shooting. The Brooklyn's injuries are going to prevent them from getting the number 1 seed. And Chris, the Lakers, we know they're going to be fine. They'll probably play Denver in the first round. No Jamal Murray. That's a cakewalk. I'm concerned for your Nets, okay, Chris? This could be 2 years in a row. You got the NBA champion very, very wrong. Broussard, here's your chance to amend it. Do you want to back off the Nets and get on board the Laker
Don't
bandwagon.
do it.
There is
Mac,
still room.
Don't do
There's
it.
still room,
enough
Chris.
time. I don't have enough time to address the nonsense you just spewed. I mean, Denver's going to be a cakewalk? Really? I mean, give the Nuggets some credit. I know Jamal Murray's out, but still, give him some respect.
Monty Moore.
And Brooklyn doesn't match up with Milwaukee. Giannis isn't posting up on the block. That size they're going to be fine with that.
Yeah, no
Relax.
Put KD on Giannis. That's a good matchup.
Brooklyn's got a lot. Brooklyn has a lot of work to do. There's no doubt. And somehow they got to try to bring this thing together. And James Harden is the key.
Yes.
Because he's the guy that can play the point guard, get everybody the ball where they need it, and defer and pull back. And then when they need him to, score 40. So the Nets, I believe, will be fine. It's different. I get it. But they'll be fine.
All right, coming up next, is Tom Brady the best GM in the NFL? Stick around.